I'd be frightened. I couldn't cope, just couldn't cope. I'd turn my head, I'd back away. I wouldn't want to know. He scares me so, I want him so, I love him so.
Hello, you're tuned in to another episode of Live Jam. I'm Juno, and please join me in giving a very, very warm welcome to our guest for tonight, the cast of Jesus Christ Superstar. Hello! Welcome to our show. We're so happy to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so to get things started, do you guys mind introducing yourselves one by one, as well as the characters you play?
I'll start. I am Gab Pangilinan. I play the role of Mary Magdalene.
My name is Javon King, and I play Judas.
And I'm Luke Street, and I play Jesus.
Welcome again. So to officially get the ball rolling, I think from the title alone, anybody will be able to tell that the story that we see in the musical will center on Jesus Christ. But how different is Jesus Christ Superstar from other productions that also center on the Bible?
This version of the show is kind of through Judas's perspective of what's happening in the last couple weeks of Jesus's life. And you kind of see the turmoil both through Judas and through what Jesus is going through in terms of his life and also with Mary. And then the show also has a lot of choreography that is also echoing a lot of what we are singing to each other, and as a mob mentality as well. It all kind of sits at the fundamentals of the show. Yeah.
And I think this production is, the whole heart of it is the music. Because, Angela Weber and Tim Wright have written an absolute amazing score.
And it did start as a concept album.
Yes, this production especially resonates so much with the Brown album, as they call it, which was the original album, which was before it came to the stage. So the heartbeat of this show is the music.
So we have very easily recognizable characters here. We have Judas, Mary Magdalene, and Jesus. But in this production, how does it work to kind of portray these characters in a new light?
Yes, I think we try and humanize them as people, and we bring all our own personality to those characters. They are figures of historical Bible figures, but we like to try and just be ourselves with it, so you can relate to it a bit more and see him on stage as a human being.
I think something about the way Jesus Christ Superstar, at least this version of it, that's why it's become such a hit, and that's why so many people love it and they keep rewatching it, is because some of them actually maybe even see themselves in the characters that they see on stage. These are names, like household names we've known growing up. We've read the Bible, we know of these characters, people know who Jesus Christ is, but seeing Jesus as a man, like as a human on stage, I think it's just it's a unique experience, and to see yourself in these characters is a different, I don't know. Someone said that watching Luke play Jesus is like an out-of-body experience. Oh. Yeah, so I think you have to experience that for yourself to be able to get it. Yeah.
So Jesus Christ Superstar was first staged on Broadway in the early 1970s. And back then it was very controversial. But over 50 years now down the line, do you think people's perception of the show has changed?
I think people have evolved the same way everything around us has evolved. And yes, there have been changes. Some still may see it as a controversy, but anything today is controversy if you make it. So it really depends on how you yourself and how you perceive it and how you see it. But I think there are so many relevant key messages that the story that Jesus Christ Superstar is trying to tell, and is so relevant today, especially with the woke culture, with social media, with the mob mentality, and with how easy it is to cancel people based on what they hear or what they see, and the pressures also of society. It's a historical thing, a biblical thing, but it still happens today. So
I think the controversy comes because obviously it's called Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'm playing Judas and you're Mary and you're Jesus. So you have those names that everyone knows of, and they have the expectation of what those three people are based off of their own, lived experience in terms of what they believe and things like that. So just going back to what Luke was saying before about humanizing them, I think it's less controversial now, I think, because we are bringing ourselves to the show. I'm not trying to be Judas from back in the day, and he's not trying to be Jesus. She's not. We are just telling a story as ourselves, as Javon, as Luke, as Gab.
And we leave it for the audience to make up their mind of how they perceive this show. It could be, you could see Jesus as a celebrity who's been built up into a celebrity culture, the fans are following him, and then how celebrity culture can sometimes be so hard on one person of you have all this pressure on you. So you can see it as a celebrity, you can see him as Jesus Christ the Savior that people have faith in. So you could be whoever that's what we want. It's open to interpretation, and what you take from the show is really up to you.
We want people to see that these people had emotions, and they were real, and they felt things, and they cried, and they were upset, and they lost their life, or, they had true feelings about the world at that time, and even in today's society, putting the mob mentality back on top of it. Again, humanizing and just showing that these were real people and they had emotions.
I think especially now, I think people are a bit more open-minded. Because I've been seeing a lot of reviews of atheists who said that they actually got interested in learning more about the Bible after they watched the show. It's super interesting.
Fun fact, a Pope actually even said that it would bring, back in the day, that Jesus Christ Superstar could bring more people closer to Christianity. So it's open to interpretation, and it's really up to you.
And it also appeals to a whole audience age range. Like, we have people who are of the older generation who come watch this show because they grew up listening to it or watching the 1970s film with Ted Neely. But then I think our show really is great for a younger audience because it's such a fresh take and a fun take. It's a spectacular. You've got glitter. You've got so much going on. And even for a young audience, I think it's brilliant.
I think it's interesting because I haven't even asked you to invite our audience yet to the show yet. I'm already kind of intrigued. I want to go watch it already. But I have some questions for each of you, and I'll start with Gab since you opened the show with a very iconic solo. So, Gab, you're playing the role of Mary Magdalene, and I saw in past interviews that this role of yours was years in the making. So, do you mind telling us a bit about the journey that it took for you to get to this role?
So, years in the making, I think, because back in 2022, I was actually asked to audition for it already because they were planning on bringing it here. But this was like post-COVID, and it fell through. But I did send in a self-tape at the time. And then only last year, 2025, and then I thought, okay, that's it. That's not going to happen, so let's move on. Then in 2025, I was asked, June, that I was told that Jesus Christ Superstar was coming here 2026, and they were like, do you want to send in the same self-tape? And I was like, you mean from 4 years ago? Nope. Let me send in a new one, please. So I did send in a new one, and then I found out months later that I got in, I think it was October last year, October 2025, that this was going to happen, and I was actually going to be able to do it with this cast. So, yeah. It's been a ride. I rehearsed alone at first, and then they all arrived. We had 5 rehearsals, and then Luke arrived, and we had 1 rehearsal before we had a show together. It's been crazy, but it's been such a rich experience, unforgettable experience, and I'm sad that I'm sad.
And she's incredible. You have to
Absolutely
come and watch her.
incredible.
Stop!
Incredible.
Stop it! No, they're amazing, and it's so, for me as a Filipina theater actor who's been acting here for a decade now, more than a decade, just to be able to learn and see what they do, how they are masters of their craft, it's been great.
Actually, related to my next question. So, of course, you're working with a multicultural cast. Has working with Luke and Javon and all of the other casts that are, of course, from other countries, has it changed the way that you tell stories on stage, or your understanding of performing at large?
I think it just reminded me, I've said this before, but the way that I've been taking this experience, it's allowed me to fall in love with theater all over again. Only because it's seeing it through fresh eyes and new perspectives. And it just further reminds me how much I don't know. And you know what I mean? Like, it just reminds me how small I am in this big, big world. And it allows me to be excited. I mean, it's such a... The world is crazy. Everything is happening, but like being in this not little production of Jesus Christ Superstar, being surrounded by people from all over the world, it just reminds me how small I am and how I have so much more to learn and so much more to see. And for me, that's great because it's like, it's a new life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for Luke and Javon, I'm sure that you've done this production already a bunch of times before, the current leg here in Manila. Does it feel any different performing it for a Filipino audience in particular compared to your past performances?
Yes. It's different for a few reasons. I mean, before we get to the audiences, it's different for us because we've never done it together. And especially my dynamic with these two and really Jesus, it really centers around the three of us and really what our relationship is. So it's always going to be different when you have a different Jesus and you have a different Mary and things like that. It is different in regards to the Filipino audience because I think they're so quiet. But I know that they love it because we get to the end of the show and they jump out of their seats and they're clapping and they're screaming and they're cheering. But it's like, I've never seen a group of people so quiet and intently listen to a show that is so loud and so heavy. And it's really amazing to watch. And I've never experienced that before. No.
Is it noisy? Like, it's a lot noisier in other countries?
Yes. It's
in
like
our defense.
It's like a rock concert in every other country.
Oh, there you have it. You have the license to make it treat it like a... No, because I think in defense of the Philippine audience, I think they're just so focused and respectful.
There's a lot happening, so I get it. I get it. But it's really fascinating. I love it.
I know. It's a different... I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then stage door is just amazing, isn't it? Like to see the joy or anything, emotion that an audience member has gone through. It's just it's amazing to go and talk to some of the fans or people, audience members that have come seen the show at Stage Door, and just to hear their take on it because everyone's take on it is different, and it's just amazing to as performers to go, I love that you took that from it, or I love that you took that way of it. It's just, and going back to your point about like you have different relationships. So I've obviously done Jesus with a different Judas, who was a bit older. So then that's kind of a dynamic of a younger brother, an older brother, kind of how we play it. But then me and Javon are like best mates. And that's how we play it, because we get on off stage, luckily. And we have a joke around, and I think that transcends into the audience.
So the Philippines is a predominantly Catholic country, so much so that even people who don't practice the religion, they know all about the Bible, all about these traditions and stuff like that. So performing Jesus Christ Superstar for a Filipino audience, what do you hope they can take away from watching you guys in action?
I think we've always said it, isn't it? I think love, harmony, relationships, going through struggles and how you can try to overcome them, forgiveness. There's so many like a moral compass of the show. For me, also, I do believe, and I hear from fans, that it can strengthen one's faith because you're seeing a human being who is your savior going through something terrible and sacrificing himself and dying in such an unimaginable way of crucifixion, getting flogged, and you're seeing that live on stage in such a spectacular way, and it's done so beautifully by a director, that I think it's just so hard-hitting, and you're like, whoa, he went through that for us.
Okay. So we've heard quite a bit about the musical in each of your journeys in the show, so I think it's time to get back to the music for now. Is that good? Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
So with that being said, here's Luke Street of Jesus Christ Superstar with Gethsemane.
Want to say, if If there is a way, take this cup away from me, for I don't want to taste its poison, feel it burn me. I have changed, I'm not as sure as when we started. Then I was inspired, now I'm sad and tired. Listen, surely I've exceeded expectations. I've tried for 3 years, seems like 30. Would you ask as much from any other man? But if I die, see the saga through and do the things you ask of me. Let them hate me, hits me, hurts me, nail me to the tree. I wanna know, my Lord. Wanna know, I wanna know, my Lord. Wanna see, I wanna see, my Lord. Wanna see, I wanna see, my Lord. If I die, what will be my reward? If I die, what will be my reward? Have to know, I'd have to know, my Lord. Have to know, I'd have to know, my Lord. Why should I die? Why should I die? Should I die? See how I destroy your only son. I will drink your cup of poison. Nail me to your cross and break me. Bleed me, beat me, kill me, but take me now before I change my mind. Now before I change my mind. You sit down.
Hello, if you're just tuning in, that song you just heard was Gethsemane from the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. So, Luke, could you tell us about who is the Jesus that we see when you perform Gethsemane?
He's tired. Jesus to me is myself. We've always said this, it's just about humanizing the role, the character, and I see him personally as just a normal guy who has gone through so much, who has been put on a pedestal by his mob or by his followers because everyone looks up to him. And I think the pressure and... You've just heard Gethsemane, and Gethsemane is one of those songs that it goes through so many emotions in one song. You know, you're talking to your father, you're going, why is this happening to me? Why am I really going to do this? Is this what you want me to do? And then going through that realization that's, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sacrifice myself. And I think that song is just timeless. The music's timeless. And the emotion in it is... To do that every night is something. It's something. Yeah. To me, he's just a man. And myself. Bring myself to the character.
So Jesus, over the years, of course, he's been portrayed in so many different ways in all of these different forms of media, like film, books, and everything. So in suiting up to embody Jesus in a more contemporary and more human way, did your perception or like understanding of him all your life change when you started to do this musical?
Yes, I would say so, because I think you've always grown up with Jesus having long hair or a beard, and unfortunately I haven't got the hair. Or people say, you know, Ted Neely is their Jesus from the film, and I don't look anything like Ted Neely, who is a genius. But I think my portrayal, we have quite similar vocal styles, but our portrayal of Jesus is different, and I think every version of Jesus is going to be different. You can make him as holy as you want him to be, or you can make him as humanized as you want him to be. And I think I've grown up with Ted Neely, I've grown up with Steve Balsamo, I've grown up listening to Ian Gillan on the original albums, and every way they sing the songs, because I think the heartbeat of this show is the music. So you can close your eyes and listen to all these Jesuses, and they bring a different style to all of them. And I hope that I can bring my own Luke Street style to Jesus, the way I sing it or interpret it.
This is a question that I'd also love to hear Gab and Javon weigh in on. So has what you known about Judas and Mary Magdalene or all your life changed when you started to really like embody your respective characters for this production?
I would say not necessarily changed, but it deepened my understanding of Mary and who she is to Jesus and how she herself views Jesus. I mean, at least for this story, for Jesus Christ Superstar. And again, we mentioned earlier how we come in as ourselves because we were encouraged to really, they were like, you have to be as natural and as authentic as possible portraying these characters. So it wasn't us necessarily putting on that mask of, I'm Mary, he's Jesus, he's Judas, but it was really us bringing ourselves on that stage and performing or singing these songs how we as humans would do it. So there's just a lot of that. Of course, negotiating the story and ourselves and who we are as people, but also who these characters, how they are written. And it's just deepened my understanding of her. And yeah, there.
I had to really kind of go in and think about how I wanted Judas to be portrayed in this show, because Judas has gotten the bad rap of being the villain for life and eternity, essentially. And not to say that what he did was not right, but I think putting the label of him as the villain is not correct. I think he is completely and utterly misunderstood. And I think he was someone who, in his head, was doing what he thought was right for everyone, and for more importantly, for his best mate in Jesus, and for the community, and for that mob mentality, I guess you can say. So for me, I had to really find the line of like, how do I go about making a historical figure that people probably just don't like, make him likable? And I think the biggest thing that I try to do is lead with as much love as I can in the show and try to just get my point across. It's less about being angry and more about being confused. It's less about, you know, I don't understand, and more of like, but I just listen to what I'm trying to say, like just hear it from my angle. So that was the biggest thing for me, and it's a tight line to walk with Judas, and I always feel like I've done my job as an actor when people come up to me after the show and be like, I wasn't supposed to like you, but I did. And I'm like, I did something right. I did my job for at least one person in the audience today. So, yeah.
To add, may I add? Also, for Mary, it's so easy to just label her as the only woman in the show. You know what I mean? It's so easy to just be like, oh, she's Mary. She's there because she's the first follower of Jesus, and she was the first one who saw Jesus when he went at the resurrection and all of that. But I think the way these characters were written, because they are so human and so there's just so many layers to it. So I think that's what I love so much about Jesus Christ Superstar, because you see all the layers and you see how every character kind of just lets those layers unfold, and they reveal themselves through these songs and through the music. And that's what makes it so interesting. And that's why I feel like every person can relate to someone in the show. And she's more than just, the first follower of Christ. She's somebody who loved him. She's somebody who didn't get that love in return, stuff like that. So, yeah, it makes it so interesting and so complex.
Now that we're nearing the end of your set, there was another question that I wanted to ask. Because the set that you have tonight, the first two songs that you performed, and Superstar, which we'll hear later, they're all, I think, touted as some of the most iconic songs on the soundtrack. So when you first got on stage to perform these songs, did you feel that there was a bit of pressure that came with that, knowing that they're so iconic? And
ask them when their first time was.
Oh, 100%. 100% you feel a lot of pressure. Once you do it, because we do it over and over again, I don't think the pressure kind of goes, but it does get lighter. Because everyone knows them, and everyone has their favorite or their interpretation of those songs. And you just hope that you can bring something to those songs yourself, and you don't do any detriment to it, and people can sit and listen and take what they feel from it. Yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever understand how scared I was coming into the rehearsal process, because I don't know how to love him. I've known it all my life. I heard Leia sing it when I was 10 years old, Leia Salonga, in her Broadway concert. We grew up seeing different Marys. Joanna Ampil, if you're familiar, Joanna Ampil is a Filipina theater actor, but she's working right now in the Phantom of the Opera as Carlota. She was Mary Magdalene in 1996. Between Escalante, played Mary years ago. Then there's, of course, Sarah Bareilles, Philippa Sue, and all these other iconic women playing this iconic role. So I had to really separate that idea of playing the iconic role from the song, from me as an actor, and me as a human, because I was afraid. Yeah, because if I thought about it too much, it wouldn't happen. So it was really more of what I could offer, or how I, as an actor, as a theater actor, would sing it, would perform it, and would tell the story. I just focused on that instead of focusing on, it's an iconic role with an iconic song. So I had to separate that.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of both of those. Specifically, the pressure does not go away, but it does get lighter. But every time, it's specifically Superstar, when that song comes on, I really have to get my life together, because it is arguably one of the most iconic songs in the musical theater canon. Yeah. It is so recognizable, and there are so many different versions of it. And if you start to think about all the different versions and who people like and who they don't like, and you want to do your own version, your head will combust. So you kind of just have to I have to be myself, and I have to sing it the way that I want to sing it, and just kind of let the rest be what it is.
And there is only one Javon King.
Apparently.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to put a pin on what you just mentioned. You said that when you prepare to perform Superstar on stage, you have to feel like you have to get your life together before you get on stage. But what are the emotions that kind of are rampant on stage whenever you suit up to perform this specific song? Like with the audience and also the atmosphere around the other actors on stage?
Yeah, this is probably the hardest bit of the show for me, and probably Luke can attest to this because he's done Judas before. Right before you do Superstar, you're doing Judas's Death, which is a song that it goes through so many emotions, and you're having this conversation, internal struggle with yourself, and you're talking to God, and you're making a decision to take your own life, which everyone on stage and everyone in the house is now watching a man kill himself and hang himself. And then you come down and you get your life together. And the reason I say that is because you have to decompress the fact that you just killed yourself as an actor or with all those things. You come back, and what's happening on stage is poor Jesus is getting the life beaten out of him, and you're coming on to sing one of the most iconic songs in the show. as if nothing is happening to him. And it's that juxtaposition in Superstar of me singing this song that people love, but also there's a man on stage being beat up by an entire mob of people and then being hung to a cross while I'm singing this song. So I have to ignore him, ignore that, and just be like, la-di-da-di-da, nothing's happening, like, which is just a weird thing to do in the context of everything. But yeah, you have to just kind of focus on it and just like, I'm telling a story and I'm still asking my questions even in death.
And going back to that story, I think with Judas is so beautiful because you start with Heaven on Their Minds, which is a song of asking these questions, but why is this happening? And then at the end, you've kind of bookmarked it because with more questions, for like, in a sort of, not ironic way, but a sort of, a light-hearted, it's a completely different style of song from Heaven and Minds, but it's the same sort of, you're still asking these questions.
Yeah.
And that's what you're kind of asking Jesus, but also the audience.
That's also what makes it so powerful, I think, because of, like you said, the juxtaposition of what is happening on stage with what you're saying and with how the music is being played. So it forces, I think, the audience to question what is going on and to really look into themselves, and it forces them to really face what they themselves feel about what is happening. So there is that. You end the show with more questions, but also self-reflection, I think, and really like, you have to form an opinion with what just happened in front of you. And that's something to think about after, and I think that's great.
And it's very hard vocally.
Oh yeah. But he does it so well.
So we're excited to hear you perform Superstar, but before we head to that, just as a last question, with everything that's happening in the world now, the current socio-political climate, why is it all the more relevant for people to catch Jesus Christ Superstar?
I think with what I just said, that alone is enough for people to come see it. I think we are all humans with free will, and we have to be able to discern and to create opinions and to create informed opinions of what's going on around us. And there's so much we can get out of the show, but that's one of them, discernment. And as Luke said earlier, and Javon, we always say this, for us humans to lead with love every single time.
And also what I love about theatre in general is that it's an escapism from the real world. Even though our production, there's so many themes in it, in the real world today. But even if you can just come along, just listen to the music, listen to the vocals, and see the dancing and the live band on stage with a spectacle of lights and the sound's incredible. It's an escapism from the world. You can forget about what's happening on the outside of those theatre doors just for 2 50-minute acts. So yeah, you have to come watch.
Please invite our viewers to catch the show.
Oh my gosh, please come watch Jesus Christ Superstar. Happening at the theater at Solaire until May 31 only. You can get your tickets at Ticket World and follow at gmg.productions. See you at the theater.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of these stories with us tonight. I had a really fun time learning about it, and I'm definitely going to catch the show also. You've convinced me from the start. Like, you didn't even have to say, like, the spiel at the end. But yeah, you've already convinced me from the very start. But also, thank you also to everyone who tuned in tonight. If you have any thoughts on this episode, feel free to drop them in the Live Jam chat room on the Rappler Communities app. Once again, I'm Juno, and without further ado, here to perform the last song of the night is Javon King of Jesus Christ Superstar with Superstar.
Every time I look at you, I don't understand why you let the things you did get so out of hand. You'd have managed better if you had it planned. Now why'd you choose such a backwards time in such a strange land? If you come today, you would have reached the whole nation. Israel in 4 BC had no mass communication. Don't you get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong.